Hello there everyone and welcome back to the Formula 1 2014 Ferrari career mode on the Xbox One. And today is time for race 7 in Canada around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and the Grand Prix de Canada of 2014. Now last time out it was quite an incredible race. It was our first win of the season around the Circuit de Monaco. Both Mercedes went out of qualifying. Sebastian Vettel crashed out despite being on pole. It was pretty bonkers, but go back and watch that video. I really recommend you do. But today it is time for Canada, and there's a twist. Not on race day, but on qualifying day, there is a very strong chance of heavy rain. So qualifying could be completely out there once again. And I quite like Canada, so this could be quite a good chance for another good result. But let's have a look at the World Championship standings before we get into the Grand Prix today. You can see that the top 6 are very much starting to form a group away from the rest of the field. Surprising that Williams haven't had such a good start to the season. I'd expected those guys to be up there and be a lot more competitive than they have done. However, the poor performance of Mercedes last time out means that both the Red Bull drivers and ourselves and Fernando Alonso have managed to pull back a slight gap to those guys at the top. Now, Lewis leads Nico by 10... Fair enough. Lewis leads Nico by 10 points in the championship standings, and Daniel Ricciardo, in his first season at Red Bull, is a further 14 points behind. Then it's fairly close, with only 16 points separating Daniel Ricciardo in 3rd and Fernando Alonso in 6th. And with that win last time out, we have overtook Fernando for 5th in the championship standings. Talking about best of the rest at the moment, Nico Hulkenberg leads that race with the Force Indias and Williams in a sandwich of each other. Oh, whoops, we've gone settings there. Nico Hulkenberg leads that race, Massa with 22 points. Kevin Magnussen also doing well with 22 points. Sauber, Lotus and Toro Rosso scored their first points of the season last time out. As you can see in the Constructors, we are fairly close to Red Bull in 2nd, and hopefully we can keep that up with today's race in Canada. But it's one I'm looking forward to, but it should be an interesting qualifying to say the least. Heavy rain expected. Well, the rain is falling. Goodness me, this should be fun. I mean, it only looks light back in the pit lane, but as you can see at the other side of the track, it looked pretty heavy. But it's the full wet weather tyres, and it doesn't look like it's going to let up anytime soon, to be quite honest, this rain. Let's have a look at the predictions for the rest of the sessions. So Q3, Q1 and Q2 are all going to be in the wet. And then tomorrow, it's going to be bone dry. So we're going to have to go, in the interest of the race, with our dry setup. That's the only thing we can do. But what I'm going to say is we need to get out there with lots of fuel and just set as many lap times as we can, as we are well aware. In the wet, it's all about being out there at the best time, and that could be absolutely any time in the 18 minutes. As you can see, it's completely wet. But we're going to get out there, put it on rich fuel mix, set a few laps and see what the weather conditions are like. If they're fairly consistent, then we'll just go out with a low fuel run. But for the moment, let's just get used to the track in this wet weather. And hopefully, don't crash. That would help as well. Well, we're looking okay for the moment. As you can see, we're ahead of Sutil, Kvyat and Gutierrez, and those are the guys we really need to be ahead of. Doesn't matter about being top of the standings or whatever. We are at the moment, but I don't think any of the serious big guns have set a lap time. I don't know who that is ahead of us, but they're certainly going to come across the line soon to set their lap. Let's see if it's anybody who's going to beat us. It isn't, and we actually can't beat our previous lap time, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but at the moment, we've got everybody pretty well on track. Yeah, everybody's on track, so that's what it's going to be like for the rest of the session. You've just got to be out there at the best time, but conditions aren't too bad. Soon it's full wet. We've gone with our dry setup, which probably isn't the optimum for this session, but again, it's a little bit slippy, a little bit slidey, but it's tolerable at the moment. If anything, the weather started to actually regress and get worse over the session, so our 4th place was pretty good in the end. Lewis Hamilton 1st, Vettel and Alonso really in a league of their own, and then it's ourselves. The McLaren's looking good, Williams and Force India, Rosberg and Ricciardo a bit of a concern, but it's really the usual suspects. The Caterhams, the Marussias, a shocker from Roman Grosjean, who's in 21st, and Pastor Maldonado goes out as well, so the 3 bottom teams out. I mean, Valtteri Bottas pretty close to line, but I'll be interested to see what Daniel and Rosberg can do next time out. It will be an interesting session, and definitely a tough one to get into Q3, so could be once again a mixed grid here. Banker time then in Q2. Pretty well everyone set their lap. What's ours going to be? Let's see where it puts us. Ooh, just below top of the times for now. Interestingly, below Jenson Button. Now, Lewis Hamilton was the first guy to set a lap time. I don't think he was up there at all. I mean, to be fair, 5th. But Button at the top of the grid. That's nice and refreshing to see. Hopefully, he might well repeat his antics from the year before, 3 years before at Canada in 2011. But Rosberg's gone to the top now. This should be an interesting session, though. The time's tumbling all the time. First run complete, and ultimately there is one aim in this session. That is to be in the top 10, and that is where we are at the moment. But it's perilously close between us. I mean, the top 4 in a league of their own. But between us and Sebastian Vettel in 11th, there's only 3 attempts. I mean, the rest of the guys haven't set competitive times at all. So, just a case whether the weather conditions get better. And if they do, we need to be out there pretty quickly. Well, that, ladies and gents, a turn up for the book. Sebastian Vettel out in Q2. That's big for us. We've beat one of the Red Bulls already out in 11th place. Couldn't beat the time of Kevin Magnussen. Hamilton and Rosberg, the pace setters at the front. I'd like to get into that group ideally in Q3. But Sergio Perez gone. I mean, he was a long way off Nico Hülkenberg. So we've got both Mercedes, both McLarens, both Williams and both Ferraris. But only one Red Bull and the Singular Force India. So it'll be an interesting session. Can we get somewhere near the top? And obviously it'll be a dry race tomorrow, so no idea what the dry pace is going to be. We suggest we'd be up there, but that would obviously be helped if we get a good grid position. So here's an interesting development. Only intermediates for this session. I don't think it's going to dry up enough for dries at the end. It's still spitting with rain, so I think inters is as far as we're going to go before the end of this session. But a lot more grip, and it'll be interesting to see how the times fall. I know that's not the fastest lap time that Hamilton can do, but that is a bank lap for him. So we'll have to see what the times are like. But just look at the line of drivers here. This is going to be interesting. And if we're a lot quicker than anybody, we're going to be pretty tricky to overtake them. We've mucked that up already. So we might just sit back on this lap, wait for everybody to go through, and develop some space for our own. So best lap time then is a 1:22.9 from Nico Rosberg on his first lap. Can we beat that? Let's see. Well, it seems there's definitely some pace in this circuit. We were a 10th up on Rosberg's time. We went purple in Sector 1, and we're only a 10th and a half down in Sector 2. So let's see what the final lap time is going to be. Pretty aggressive into this final corner here. Hopefully we don't hit the wall of champions over the curb. Probably not the best route to take, but let's see what it is compared to that 22.9. It won't be too far off. Let's see what the lap time is. It's a 23.3, a very solid lap time. A few of the guys have actually come into the pits, so especially our teammate, Fernando Alonso, after that run. So, interesting. I'm going to stay out for a little while longer while the fuel permits, because I definitely think there is a chance for some pace to be gained, particularly if the weather stops being too bad. I mean, there's still spits of rain, but I'd say it's getting a little bit better. A bit more grip in the track. It's not quite going to be dries, but the track is getting better by every minute, which means there's pace to be found. We're only 3 tenths behind Nico Rosberg in the race for pole. Amazingly, 4 different teams occupy the first 4 spots on the grid. So we've got 2 laps. Let's see what we can do. Can we advance any more? And maybe, could there be a bit of an upset? Well, track conditions are definitely better, and we're a little bit up on our second sector. Can we improve in Sector 3? That's the question. This is our first of 2 timed laps. Let's see. The tyres are a little bit worse for wear in terms of their temperature. They're not great. We've just slid completely out of that corner. But is it going to be any better than our previous attempt? Can he put us on the first row? Yes, it can. We're going second. So one more chance. Can we topple Rosberg for pole? Surely this has got to be the lap. Look at that first sector. Half a second up on what we've done before. 4 tenths up on Rosberg. And I can confirm that Rosberg, as well as Hülkenberg and Massa, are all in the pits. So, suggesting that all the AI drivers do the same. Looks like this could be it for the rest. Have we got an opportunity at the best track conditions at the end of the session? Let's find out. It's going to be close. Just depends if anybody else does a lap time. But this is going to be a bit of a shaky grid. That's for certain. Can we get on pole, though? Hamilton's gone top. Hamilton has gone pole. And someone's just moved past Rosberg as well. So, I wonder who that is. Is that maybe Fernando? But let's see what we can do. Hamilton, 3 tenths of what we've set already. Yes, Alonso's gone into third. Can we beat our teammate? The end of qualifying, that lap from Hamilton suggests there is more pace in this circuit. We're going to try and get everything we can out of this last corner. That's not bad. What's it going to be? Only our pace on the straight can do it now. And it's pole! Get in! Wow. Look at how close that was. Look at how close that was. 2 thousandths of a second, but it's a British front row and it's a Ferrari on top. Wow. We out-qualify Fernando again. We're on pole. Goodness me, things are starting to go well for us. It's ourselves on pole, Lewis and Nico second and third, our teammate in fourth, the first Red Bull in fifth, then a good display from Bottas in sixth, a good display also from McLaren on the fourth row, and then it's Hülkenberg 9th, and Felipe Massa 10th. It's going to be dry tomorrow, but hopefully our dry pace is good as well. We could be on for another good result at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And here we are in Parc Fermé. We got congratulated by Hamilton. It's our first ever pole position. We came very close in Monaco, but we got pole here. How are we going to get on in the race? Let's find out. We won in Monaco. Now we've got another accolade, our first pole position. Can we convert this pole to a win? Let's find out. We've gone with the alternate strategy though. Everybody pretty much else, I believe, is starting on prime tyres. We have elected to start... sorry, they've started on the options and we're going for the primes. So let's see how that works out. A shorter second stint and hopefully better pace at the end of the race. But we are away for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix. Nobody to overtake at the start this time. It's going to be weird seeing how different the conditions are. Just so much grip coming into that first few corners. It's unbelievable. And we lead, and we've developed a little bit of a gap from the leaders, so that was a very good start for us. No real bother from the guys behind, but I'll tell you what, I'm all over the place, because our braking points are completely different from what there would be in the wet. So a lot to get used to. I mean, it's just crazy how much grip we've got. You completely forget how this circuit goes in the wet compared to the dry, but we're doing pretty well. It seems the top three have pulled away. Into fourth is Kevin Magnussen in the McLaren. That's a strong start for him. Any other shocks? Don't think so at the moment. And we're going to keep going on. Keep probably trying to save fuel in this first stint. That's going to be important. And let's see how we get on. Hopefully, though, we should be able to stay in front of the Mercedes until they come into the pits. Well, a good update for you folks. It's a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. Initially, we'd pulled away with the two Mercedes, but those guys just seem to flop. I don't know whether they were scrapping against each other or what, but as you can see, Alonso's managed to get through that group. And we are a world away from anybody else. Half a second is the gap between myself and Fernando. And Nico Rosberg is a further 2.5 seconds back. Now, I understand that, I mean, pretty much everyone's on the options, aren't they? I think everybody apart from us is. And Sergio Perez in the Force India. And Nico Hulkenberg's retired, so that's quite a shame. He was qualifying well and had a good chance in the race. I don't know if it was mechanical or what that made him retire, it's not clear. But I would guess that Alonso would come in either this lap or the next lap. Same for most of the runners behind. But we've got a lot of fuel in reserve. So we're just going to use these laps in the interim to go with a rich fuel mix. We can go nice and long on the primes. No issues of tyre wear just yet. And then come out on the options and hopefully pounce at the end of the race. Alonso set a 16.6 last time out. But before that it was a 17 dead, the fastest lap. So we're fairly decently on pace with that with a 17.4. So I'm quite comfortable at the moment. This is good pace. Now I'm going to make a team decision which hopefully doesn't impede me too much. I'm going to let Fernando Alonso through and try and hold up Nico Rosberg behind. Now Hamilton and some of the other runners have come into the pits, so Alonso will be pitting in this lap. But we're going to let Alonso try and pull away a little bit. I can understand he's probably going to be held up a little bit behind us on the prime tyres. Just give him that edge ahead of the guys in front of him. I've got no real fear that he should get ahead of us after the pit stop. So I think we're on the best strategy here. I just wanted to give him a little bit of an advantage, and you'll hopefully pit this lap, or else we'll look like a bit of a pillock. But I think that all of Rosberg, Ricciardo, the drivers behind are going to pit, but it gives Fernando a nice buffer between him and the guys behind, and also helps us with a nice dose of DRS as well. Let's see, is he going to come into the pits? Yes, he is. So that's worked out quite nicely. Let's see if the rest of the guys come in as well. They all do. So now it is rich fuel mix time until lap 11. They're going to go like a bat out of hell. We're just going to see who wins in the pit stop race. Is it going to be Hamilton who gets the undercut, perhaps? Let's see who it is. I feel like Bottas and Magnussen probably haven't pitted yet, I would say. But we'll just see until they come out of the pits. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I guess Bottas. I know Perez is on the prime, so Perez runs into third place. We'll just have to see who comes out of the pits first. I think Alonso coming out now, but it's time for us to push. See how we get on. And I'd guess they'll be coming out now. We'll just leave it a few seconds just to make sure that field gets into a decent order and there's nobody who hasn't pitted yet. I'm guessing that's going to be time now. So Alonso does get ahead of Hamilton. Great strategy from bloody Sebastian Vettel. Jesus Christ. He's done well to jump both Ricciardo and Rosberg. This is going to be interesting. So can we keep it going? Hopefully it's nice and close between the guys behind, so they're scrapping away. But interesting from Valtteri Bottas to play the overcut as well. We'll have to see what effect that has on his race. And also from Sergio Perez on the primes. We'll have to see what he's like on the options. But lots of questions to be answered. But we'll have to see how we get on. Let's do another 2 and a bit laps of real pushing and see where we come out, most importantly, after our pit stop onto the option tyres. So this is pit lap then. Sergio Perez has stayed out there on the primes, and it seems like he's going to help us out a little bit. He's holding up the rest of the field. as you can see from the right-hand side, indicates that we should rejoin the race in first place. But until we do that, I don't particularly believe that, because Alonso's only 14.8 seconds behind. I'm aware that this pit lane is quite handsome, that it cuts off that first corner, but we'll have to see how we get on. I've pushed quite hard. 17 dead is our best lap in this session. Let's see who that other guy is who's just retired. It's Pastor Maldonado, so not really important to our race, none of the front runners anyway. But interesting to see we've got a few retirements here, the same amount we have in Monaco. But as you can see, just on the mini-map going past there, Perez and Alonso are fighting it out now. But it's pit stop time for us. Can we make this the quickest we can? Can we get back out in the lead? Let's see. Let's just slow down for the pit line. And we've got quite a bit of fuel in excess, so that'll definitely help on our option run. No fear of anybody doing anything silly in the pit stop, so as long as Ferrari gets this pit stop right, we're back out of a 3.7 second stop, which isn't too bad at all. Perez comes in as well, and it seems that Hamilton has overtook Fernando Alonso, but they're come past in real time. Can we get past them? This is going to be close into the first corner. It's a run down to see who can get out first, and it looks like they've beaten us. Where are we going to get out? Come on! Pit assist's on! I don't want bloody pit assist, and we've come out in 6th. That's a bit of a disaster. Bloody pit assist was on. Goodness knows what happened there, but at least we're in a line for the win now. Hamilton leads from Alonso, Vettel, Ricciardo and Rosberg, and our first victim is the Mercedes of Rosberg. Really shocked that he's quite a way behind him. We're being a little bit silly, cutting corners there. That's not going to help anybody out. But we're going to be aggressive from the start. Oh! Maybe a bit too aggressive. We had to pull out of that one, and we've hit Kevin Magnussen as well. Maybe going too aggressive isn't really the best move. We might as well wait for the DRS. That could have ended in disaster, but I'll follow you guys, keep following with you guys until something happens here, and hopefully we should be able to keep up with Rosberg up to the DRS line. It's the top 4 that I'm fearing they're going to get away here, but Hamilton leads still from Fernando, so something's obviously happened to mean that Hamilton's got ahead of Fernando Alonso here. But we should be able to get ahead of Nico Rosberg in the DRS. Again, a surprise that Rosberg's this far back. That's a real shock and can't seem to keep up with the front runners. But we got DRS a little bit far back. You'll be amazed though how quickly we can catch Rosberg. Not necessarily here, but definitely on the second DRS. Taking a lot of curb there. But that's certainly going to help us get ahead of the Mercedes driver. Up the inside. And into 5th we go. So the 2 Red Bulls, Fernando and Lewis up ahead. So we've got to chase after them and see if we can get our second win of the season. That's not a bad lap to start this run off, is it? At 15.1, just 2 seconds quicker than what we'd set on our previous run. The pace difference of these options is quite amazing. That will be the fastest lap of the race, as you can see, at 15.190. But we're right behind the Red Bulls now, cutting that corner a little bit cheekily again. Need to get out of that habit. But it's one thing getting behind these cars, and it's another one getting past. I understand that we got past Rosberg fairly easily, and he's dropping back a lot now. But they're in a line of 4. They're all going to have DRS, so that strength that we'd have isn't necessarily going to be as big as we thought it might be. Taking a lot of curb, and that seems to be helping our lap time. But we'll stay onto the DRS. We've got a double zone, so you think we can get past at least Ricciardo here, but time will run out very quickly, and it'll be sort of last lap time before you know it. So everyone's got DRS apart from Lewis here, so he's going to be under attack. But let's see how we get on. Into the DRS zone then. We've got the option tyres. I don't think we'll get past Ricciardo at this stage because we're a little bit far away. But on the start-finish straight, hopefully we can make a move. I'm not going to make any sort of move just yet because we're nowhere near close enough. That's not the best exit to the last corner at all. So that might well be another lap lost in terms of time to get past Daniel Ricciardo. So this is what I mean. You know, the time... Got to be careful how long we take about this, but as I said, it's one thing getting close to these guys, it's another getting past them. Right on the back of Daniel Ricciardo there, but out of the corner we have a little bit of a twitch. So we'll have to see again. It's DRS that's going to be the main talking point for us to get past. Main talking point? Main focus point. Don't know what I'm on about sometimes, main talking point. Anyway, I'll fast forward to the DRS. We're going to have to start getting quite punchy here because time can run out very quickly. We're not close enough to Ricciardo at the moment. Maybe our optimum time on the options have gone, I'm not sure, but an aggressive entry into this corner, which we certainly pulled off and taken way too much curb. We've used our corner cutting quota clearly now, but it's let us get closer to Daniel Ricciardo. We've just got to be punchy here. And we're past. I mean, that was pretty cool, that drift into that corner, if you ask me. But we had to do that. We had to make that move. It was risky. There was plenty of risk involved, but we just had to do it. We want to win this race, which really should be ours from pole position. So next guy, we've got 3 laps to go. 3 drivers to get past. Can we win this Grand Prix? It's going to come down to the wire. So here we go again. We're a little bit close to Sebastian Vettel, I'd say, than we were to Daniel Ricciardo, but we're not going to make much ground up here. Again, it's going to have to be an aggressive entry. We don't want to be cutting too many more corners, or else we'll get a penalty, and that will jinx this whole thing. But that's about enough curb to take, but we're just not close enough, really. Vettel's got DRS as well, and only 2 laps to go. So this plan might not come off. I mean, we're not going to get past him there, are we? But yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Completely agree. I don't think we're going to win this race. We've only got 2 laps left. The fuel light's starting to come on as well, which isn't going to help in any stretch. That's a shocking corner cut, and we've got a penalty. That's just brilliant. So we're just going to have to go for it here. 20 seconds! Well, I'll be honest, I cut away there because I checked if I could flashback. No, I don't have any flashbacks on this career mode, so that is an absolute disaster. Wow. I mean, I'm going to be lucky if we're in the top 8 here. Bloody hell. Talk about an opportunity gone. Just by cutting one corner. We were being as aggressive as we could be. I mean, yeah, it's all gone now. I'm absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted, because it was a great chance to get 25 points on the board. But, I mean, you know, 2.3 seconds. We're not going to make that up in 1 lap, are we? We've just got to be as quick as we can to get across the line, but we're going to be lucky to getting the points here. Absolute disaster. Complete disaster, this. Big penalty for that corner cut. 20 seconds, that's huge. I thought it might have been 10, but 20 seconds, and well, that's just so disappointing. In so many races this year, we've not been close to the win. And we've had to be aggressive here to get it. Maybe prime an option wasn't the right strategy, who knows. It certainly wasn't in the end. Without that penalty, could we have won the race? Guess we'll never know now. But a disastrous result for somebody like Nico Rosberg. But we'll have to see how the championship standings looks. That's took us way out of the picture again. Which is just annoying, really annoying. But what can you do? I think it was a risk worth taking, to be honest, but we just turned in a little bit too early. I feel like our wet weather running didn't really help, but I mean, you know, 16, 17 laps in, it's not really an excuse to not know when to brake and when to get out of a corner, but try to be as quick as we can going up to the line, I guess. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo's going to get third, so there's no point in going up the inside, but it's been very close between Alonso and Lewis all day, and Lewis Hamilton wins the race. Alonso comes across the line in second. We provisionally come across the line in third, which would have been absolutely fantastic, but we end up in 11th. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Well, that's a real 0-0, isn't it?
Just 1 place outside the points. Good driving.
Good driving, yeah. We nearly won it. That's a disaster. That is an absolute disaster. Wow. So the points look as follows. I mean, yeah, we're out of it again. We have to work very hard in the next few races to get back into this. Was it a risk worth taking in your point of view? I don't know. I really don't know. It's been a good run we've been on lately, but that was just us getting a little bit too confident. No points from Canada. That's a big disappointment considering we were on for the win. But these things happen. What can you do about it? Lewis Hamilton wins the race. Fernando Alonso finishes second. So, good race for Fernando at least. But, yeah, disaster. Let's see what else is being said. Austria, rain forecast for Saturday again. So, a chance, definitely. I mean, we're getting on top of Alonso on some areas now. Which could have done with that podium. Well, that's ahead of us now. We've got Austria next, and I hope you guys have enjoyed that. I'm just a little bit gutted about that, really am. Could have been another 15, 18, 25 points. But we went for the big one, and, well, obviously, it's not paid off. But thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I've been TIJ Gamer. Until the next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye for now.